Welcome to the Team of One podcast, where we share the story of the solopreneur by exploring different ideas from different voices so you too can find a way to live life on your own terms. My name is Moe Choice, and in this episode, Ioana shares her journey from being a teacher to a successful freelance content writer to a bona fide solopreneur and how she's now building her agency. She talks about the challenges of starting a business during the pandemic and her need for financial security before fully committing to it. We also talked automated systems for passive income, the growing demand for quality content, and the role of AI in our future. I hope you enjoy the conversation. Welcome back to the Team of One podcast. Today's guest is Ioana Wilkinson. Ioana, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mo. I'm Ioana Wilkinson, and I am a six-figure freelance content writer for B2B SaaS and tech brands. And I also teach people how to become freelance content writers so they can travel, live wherever they want, or just be home with their babies.
Amazing. Doing what you want from where you want, whenever you want. That's the name of the game.
Yes.
Do you identify currently as a solopreneur?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Especially with like my grit.
Well, tell us how you define the term solopreneur.
So for me, it's someone who likely is super stubborn, doesn't want to follow the status quo, wants to build something of their own, just has their own idea of how they want to build their life. And they're willing to go out. They're willing to do everything, the blood, sweat, and tears to make it happen. They have the stomach for it. Yeah.
Amazing. And how or why did you decide to become a solopreneur?
Because I'm a rebel at heart. So even as a little girl, I was the one, with the lemonade stand, the classic that, all entrepreneurs say. But also, I went as far as picking flowers from my neighbors' yards and selling them to other neighbors, which they bought, by the way. Or anytime anything was offered to sell at school, fundraising, I was like, I'm down. Any opportunity to sell, even, I hate to say it, but all the MLMs, like as a teen girl or like a young in my 20s, I was like, I will sell those products, makeup, anything. I'm there. If I can sell it, make money, I'm good. So yeah, it's just in my blood, I think. It's just who I am. Started my photography company when I was 17, ran that for 10 years. So literally it's just me.
And I don't know if I shared with you when we met that I started in photography.
Yes, that's right.
It was the same kind of thing. Like I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was like,
yeah,
this is an opportunity. Let's just, it means I don't have to listen to anyone. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see where it goes. Amazing. You also told me that your version of hell was not having control of your life. And I think that comes across really clear in terms of how you think about solopreneurship and what you want to do.
Oh, yeah.
There's obviously downsides to that.
Sure.
Right. So tell us a little bit more about the early days in particular, or even it could have been later where the real struggles came. What were those?
Yeah. So when I started, it was in 2020. So, it was during the pandemic. And I was also a TEFL teacher at the time. And my hours were plummeting. And so I was, and I was pregnant. So I was like, okay, this is a terrible place to be in. Both my husband and I's hours were plummeting, pregnant. And I had been missing having a business. I had my photography company, but then I took like a 4 to 5 year teaching pause where I taught English in Spain. And that's when everything blew up. And so that was really hard because it was like, well, what if this doesn't work? I'm just leaping into this. What if no one ever hires me? What if I never make a single $100 or $1,000 or anything? So that's really the hardest part of starting is just literally not knowing and jumping and leaping and hoping that you will catch yourself on the way down. Which is what happened, which I'm super thankful for. It actually happened super fast, but that's the hardest, I think, is just that bravery of doing it, the risk and not knowing.
The unknown, navigating the unknown.
Unknown.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Very common,
Yes.
right? It's the thing that it's an interesting concept because our greatest potential sits in the unknown, but so does
Yes.
our greatest fear. And
Right.
so it's like we have to get to unlock our potential, we have to face our greatest fears. I think that's the story of life.
I love that perspective. Absolutely. Yes, exactly. Um, and I read a quote recently that was like, your life like shrinks or expands in proportion to the amount of courage that you have. And I really feel like that's so true because the more courageous I am, the more my life does expand. And if there is like a failure along the way, this sounds super cheesy, it's so cliche, but there's always a lesson that I can apply to make whatever it is even better.
It sounds cheesy, but not many people actually live by that mantra. They say it, but they
Right.
don't. It becomes disaster if they fail, or it becomes like it's a
Right.
bit. And emotionally, I feel that some ways, but
Sure.
once the emotions calm, then you start to think
Hmm.
about it. It's true. You know,
Yeah, we're human for sure.
yeah. We also talk about the progress cycle as plan, action, reflect.
Ooh, love
And a
that.
lot of people take action. A lot of people plan and don't take action. A lot of people take action without a plan, but very few people reflect, actually look
Oh,
back and say, and even from the wins, Joanna, not just the
mm,
lot, like, why did I win there? Why did that
right.
work? What are the things that I can take out so I can, because you want to replicate what works, obviously.
Love that. Oh, yes. That is the juice. That is how
Yeah.
you get money. That is the scaling power right there.
So I would say the summary of that is it's not just when you fail, there's a lesson. When you succeed, there's a lesson.
Yeah, I love
Right?
that. Yeah,
There's
for
always a
sure.
lesson. So just look out for the lesson.
Absolutely. Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
TEFL, for those who don't know, is teaching English as a foreign language.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Um, so let's talk about the turning point where you started to now believe this was the right path for you. What did that?
Hmm. Well, when it came to like a practical sense, it ticked every box. Like, why would I not want an opportunity to work from home or live anywhere in the world and have unlimited income potential? So from that side of it, it was like that's a no-brainer for me.
Hmm.
Um, but I realized it could work when I started getting paid. When the clients were like, we need writers. And I started realizing that there was a massive rabbit hole of content marketing need to a point where, like, and this is why AI is here, right? Everyone's scared AI is going to come and take your job as a writer. It's not going to happen, okay? Unless they just care about shitty content, then they will definitely replace you. Okay. But this is why AI writers even exist, is because there is such a massive need for content.
I see. See, that's a good reframe. That is. If it wasn't
Hmm.
a need, then they wouldn't be making money.
Right. We don't have enough fingers to write all of the blogs and the social media content and all the things that need to be done.
Got it.
Now, and this is a different topic, but then it just becomes sticky between like, okay, well, how do you use it ethically? But that's
That's another
another
podcast.
conversation.
That's
Yeah,
another podcast.
exactly. Exactly. But yeah, so just seeing the need for it and seeing like, okay, there is like just a large market need for this. That's when I realized this is going to work. And yeah, I mean, just within a few weeks of posting my portfolio and applying to gigs, I started getting money and
Great.
replaced my income really fast within just a couple months.
Great.
And then replaced my husband's income just a couple months after that.
Amazing. I have this line that I use. The only feedback that matters is the market. She will tell
Love that.
you whether you have something valuable for her, and that's
Yes.
in the form of money, getting paid.
Did you say for her? I love that.
Yeah, the market's
Yeah.
definitely feminine. The market, I'll tell you that.
I love that. Oh
Um,
my gosh.
um, if someone you cared about was starting from scratch as a solopreneur, what would you say to them?
Okay. I I'm not someone that's straight woo and I'm not someone that's straight strategy. I'm both. So what I would recommend is to also have both the woo and the strategy. And the woo is what I mean is self-belief to the highest degree you can possibly have in yourself. And even if you hear voices in your head or from other people that say that you can't do it, you're not enough, it's not going to happen, find a way, have a reframe, have something that you can turn to quiet that voice, to reframe that script. So for some people, that could be a vision board, map out your entire future of how you want it to look, pictures if you're very visual, or you could do a digital vision board if you don't want it up in your office or whatever. But yes, some kind of vision or mental reframe that is powered by self-belief. And then the second is strategy. Have a strategy, ideally a simple strategy that you can test and refine. And if possible, find a mentor because they've already gone through all that stuff. So they're going to help you get there a little bit faster if you imitate their strategies and, of course, align them with your values as well and put your own magic sauce on it. But yeah, self-belief and strategy are huge.
I love it. I think we need help with everything anyway. So it has to be the right help, though.
Yes.
It has to be the right person delivering the right strategy at the right time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I will say something that I say quite a lot. My motivation is my self-doubt. What I mean by that is if I think I'm not good enough, well, then I need to go get good enough.
Ooh, that's good.
Like, why would I use that as an opportunity to not do the work? It's the opposite. It's like I have to now go and learn. I have to now go and figure this out. And that's where I think what you said, spot on. Who knows? Who's doing the things that I want to do, that knows how to do them, that I can imitate or follow or ask, or even ask, for heaven forbid, ask for help.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And, some people get scared because coaches, some coaches have big packages, but nowadays coaches have tiers. So you can even go. She meant
packages like on offer. That's what she meant when she said big packages, right?
Oh, yeah. So they could be charging 10 to 30K. And so some people are like, well, I don't want to pay 10 to 30K or I don't have the means. But nowadays, what's cool is a lot of coaches have tiers. So you can either get a course that's a little bit cheaper or just even one or two calls could change your life.
What?
I remember I got on a call and a coach answered one question for me and I was like, done.
Exactly.
Done.
One comment could change that. It's the Jim Rohn. He says you can't change the destination, but you can change the direction overnight.
Yep.
You can change the direction literally through one piece of advice.
Right.
It's I love that. It's exactly
yes.
Right. Let's talk about next level. And I do have a question that I wanted to come back to based on the AI writers that you were talking about too, the AI content creators. But let's start with next level for you. What does it look like?
Oh, okay. So from a purpose point of view, I want to help as many people feel empowered and feel like they absolutely can have an online business. Amazing if it's freelance writing because I think it's the coolest business ever. And from the business side of things, I want passive income. And I know nothing is actually passive, right? But I do. I want automations. I want funnels. I want the works. I want that beautiful, you asked for this, ping pong, you get this in your email. Now I'm upselling this. Now I'm reselling that. I want automations on top of automations on top of automations.
So it's more passive delivery rather than passive income. It's something like that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, with digital products, digital offers, mostly educational, templates, trackers, courses, classes, educational content for entrepreneurs and aspiring freelance writers.
I mean, honestly, the only thing for me that's passive income is We Are the Champions by Queen, because everyone's going to pay them for that song
forever and ever and ever.
Forever, right? It's that's passive income where you've created something so memorable that generations keep passing it on and you keep getting paid for it.
Yes.
right? And it's like,
Yes.
it's a dream, really, and it's something you can't design. It's not like Freddie Mercury sat and said, this is going to be passive income for the rest of my life.
Right.
He just created what he created, and the market, she determined what was the value of it, right?
Yes. Love it.
I love that too. So why is this important? This automation, this passive delivery and operation. Why is this important for you? Why is this next level?
It's vitally important because I need complete as possible flexibility over my life and freedom. And I want to experience abundance in the fullest capacity. I feel like that's one of my purposes here on earth is to fully understand what abundance is, to not be scared by any amount of number, to be able to hold wealth in the greatest capacity that I can. And not just abundance, but also the feeling of being able to like fly my mom first class somewhere or buy my brother a house, or if my one of my girlfriends is having problems, she just lost her job, send her 4K a month, and it's like, whatever, easy. And don't pay me back either. Right. Literally take it, right. And what if my parents get sick one day? Like, I don't want to have to be a hamster on a wheel, chugging out services and products left and right to survive. How amazing would it be if I made that investment up front? Now my parents are sick, I'm able to cater to them, and I'm still getting paid. That to me is the ultimate freedom that anyone could ever want.
100%.
And we are at the age where we can actually do that.
Yes.
We are like the first generation of entrepreneurs that can do that, which is just, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's 100% right. And I always say to people, there's no better time to become a solopreneur than now. And I think it's going to be easier now, although there's risks, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I will say one thing. We talk about health, wealth, and relationships, status. Everybody wants better health, better wealth, better relationship, whatever it means for them, but they want better of all three. And I like the order, because if health isn't there, that's the priority.
Yeah.
If health is there, then you want wealth to help other people's health.
Yes.
Right. And if wealth is there, right, for you, then you can start relationships. You can start helping other people with their wealth too. And it's like a cascade. Let's make sure everyone's healthy. Let's make sure everyone's wealthy. And let's make sure we're surrounded by the people we want to be around every single day.
Absolutely.
And that's, for me, that's the philosopher's stone, if you like. That's the best life I could imagine.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I love that 3-pronged approach.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's when I set goals, it's just three. What's the health goal? What's the wealth goal? And the health goal is as healthy as I can be. The wealth goal is as wealthy as I can be. And the relationships are, I just want to be with people I want to be with. I don't want to look at my calendar and say, oh, fuck, I've got to now meet him or her. And I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I love that.
Same goal. I wrote a post on LinkedIn in New Year saying I've got the same goal this year as I've had for the last 25 years, which is optimum health, optimum wealth, and optimum relationships. It's the same goal.
Oh, I love that. I mean, what I love about that is it's so like it can be applied universally, right? Like, who wouldn't want those things?
Yeah. You can even make it for groups and societies and communities. It's the same idea. Right?
It's genius.
Yeah.
That's a genius coaching framework for any coach out there.
Agreed.
By the way, take notes. That is like an amazing framework.
Yeah. To overcome, I got 3-year goals and 7-year goals and 10-year goals and 15, and here's my plans. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like COVID. I put my plan in the bin when COVID happened.
Sure.
AI. It's like, oh, okay. Now we have to think about things differently. So I think it's really important to macro it. And the micro's in the day to day. How do I automate this? How do I? Yeah.
Love that. And your values, like your values as a person and as a business owner, like what do you stand for? What are your values for your life?
Agreed.
Your business can absolutely, you can curate your business to support your values in life.
I think that's one of the factors of solopreneurship. You're not at the behest of the market. You're obviously, you need to feed the market something valuable, but you can design it how you want.
Yes.
Without asking for permission.
Love that.
And you can't blame anyone, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all on you, but in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. Although people do shirk that responsibility. You know, it's like there's that t-shirt. That sounds like responsibility and I want no part of it.
Hey, it's not for everyone, you know? Like some people are like, I'm cool with my 9 to 5. I like my paycheck.
I agree. Okay, now risk. I just want to touch on risk before we close. You said something that was very interesting earlier. You said the reason there are all these AI writers is because there's a market need.
Yes.
Is there a market demand for all the content that could be generated? Is there enough attention span from us that's going to want all the potential content that's being written?
Oh, we are obsessed with content. It will be a never-ending craving for content. Look at Netflix, right? And Hulu and all these other media streamers. They're coming out with their own movies, their own shows. Why? Because they know that content is what's going to help them differentiate from everyone else. It's going to keep them in the game long term. But here's the problem is we're bingers. So we're binging and we're binging and we're binging episode after episode after episode, which means that demand is at such a high rate that they'll never be able to keep up with us content cravers, you know? We're always going to want stories. People still cry at movies, you know? We're always going to want to know how to do something. We're in the information age, right?
Fine.
So we're kind of information addicted.
Fine.
Now, what I will say is that we don't want watered down content. We don't want bullshit, lazy content.
Yeah, right.
And that's where we have to be careful, because if you're going to use AI, you need to find out, how can I use this to support my message and support my processes and not dilute my magic or my critical thinking skills.
Fair. I think that's really fair. It's also, you see it in music or movies where it's just get the movie out rather than this is a story worth telling and this is the best way to tell a story. You could tell that instantly.
Yes.
And people aren't stupid. Huh? You'll see from the ratings, like that tanked because it wasn't done properly.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
What's the biggest risk in your way that's going to stop you finding this abundance that you're seeking?
Myself as in like, just not doing the work, not meeting with my automations guy, you know, who is helping me build these things, or, not putting it on my calendar. And also for also some self-compassion. I don't want to also like target myself too much, but, you know, it's time, you know, like my agency is busy and bustling and I'm super thankful for that. And that means that, you know, there's not as much time to dedicate to building out these funnels. So if I didn't have my agency, I would have already had this built. This would have been built at least a year ago. Maybe two. Maybe two.
So it's distraction, or it's focusing on other things, or it's dealing with other things that are going on, right?
Or it's time, or being a mom, you know, so it's like, you know, running the agency, running my team, running, you know, my mom.
Super mom, Ioana.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Because essentially, because it has two legs, you know, the agency side and then the coaching side, it over time, like what happens is that I always have to look at the calendar and say, okay, how much am I going to dedicate to this? And how much am I going to dedicate to that? And it's not always like a perfect science.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
fluid.
Yeah,
it's definitely fluid. And we want to be mindful of that it is fluid. Things change, emotions change, seasons change.
Yep.
And so we have to kind of, like the waves, right? We got to figure out the way to navigate them. I love that. It was a really enlightening conversation. We talked about the idea that solopreneurship might come really from within, that you have to have the minerals, as they say in the UK, in London, to be able to be a solopreneur. And we talked about how the struggles were dealing with the unknown, and is this going to work, and how do I make money, and what happens if I don't? And you know, you have babies coming, and you have mortgages to pay, and you have things to do, and people to care for. And so how do we do that? And actually the turning point for you is it works. There's a need for it. There's a gap. There's a market. There's the market. Yep. She likes what I'm offering up. And that's really important, I think, because it's that simple, really.
Yes.
And then we talked about next level. How do we now use automation to buy time, to be able to have things happening in the background so that I don't have to put my focus in, which will then free me to be able to do the things I want to do and to find this way of being as abundant as possible in the world and giving back and doing the things I want to do for the people I love.
Absolutely.
And that was a really, really nice way to talk through the conversation. Is there anything else that you want to say about any of that before we close?
When it comes to risk, I would say, in a very practical sense, if you do have a job, there is nothing wrong with keeping your job whilst building this on the side. And when you have the amount of income that you need to replace your job, at that point, leave your job. Because what a lot of people will hear is just leap and you'll be fine. And I did that with my photography business. I was also a banker. And, I was at a point where like my photography business was a good part-time income revenue stream, not full-time though. And I was like, well, I'm just going to quit my bank job and make it full-time. Well, it didn't work as fast as I had envisioned. Sure. And so it took me a year or so to get to that point. And I struggled needlessly.
Yes.
And, with the writing business, I actually waited for the revenue to match what I made and then match what my husband made. And then I quit my teaching job. Even though the hours were plummeting, I was going to lose it anyway eventually.
Yeah. But you managed to find that equilibrium before you quit.
Exactly. So I highly recommend that for anyone who's like worried, well, like how, like logistically, how would this even work? Because you do have bills and babies and all the things that you have to take care of.
Yeah.
So this is a practical way of doing that. So yeah, highly encourage you to just look at the numbers and then slide into solopreneurship full time whenever you can replace your other income with it. And if you don't have that luxury, just keep on going. Take anything else that you can. If you can deliver groceries, if you can drive an Uber, whatever it is, babysit, clean houses, there's nothing wrong with, hustling a little bit while you're trying to get your business off the ground.
100%. When I went bankrupt and I lost everything, I worked in a pub 3 nights a week while I thought about my next venture because I just needed to make some money. And there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Nothing wrong.
What did you notice about yourself during our conversation?
During our conversation? What do you mean?
Did you notice anything about yourself or about the world that we live in? Any insights?
Oh, during our conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that I loved hearing that you also very much feel called to freedom and flexibility and like health, wealth, relationships. I loved that 3-prong approach. And that's something that I would love to start thinking more about. I do think about it, but I don't have like, okay, those are the pillars. So I'm going to put that on my bulletin board today.
Amazing.
Because I think, again, that's a super simple way. Any coach out there listening should definitely write this down. I think that's probably the biggest thing I learned about myself is, although I do care about those things, having those pillars concrete where I can see them, I think could help reinforce my passion and purpose every day.
I agree.
And that's really powerful.
I agree. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Where can people find you, or is there anything else that you want to say to the audience before we close?
Yes, if you want to be a freelance content writer, this is great. If you want to make money online, travel, stay home, make money on the side, whatever, definitely reach out to me. My name is Ioana Wilkinson. You can contact me on Instagram if you prefer. Send me a DM. That's Ioana_writing business coach. Or you can shoot me an email at my personal email, which is ioanawilkinson@gmail.com, or my agency email, which is Ioana@innovatechcontent.com. And I'd be happy to talk to you about my freelance writing course or coaching, or just shoot me a question and I'm happy to answer it for you.
Amazing. And let them know that you heard Ioana on the Team of One podcast. I'll put all those details in the session notes as well, so you guys can go and click there. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy and your insights and your openness. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too.
Absolutely, I did. Thank you so much for inviting me, Mo. It was fantastic. I really
Okay.
appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you.
Oh, thanks. Ditto.
The difference between surviving and thriving often comes down to a single shift in perspective. Maybe today's conversation sparked something for you, or maybe it confirmed what you already knew. I'm going to keep exploring what it takes to reach the next level. For more solopreneur stories, hit subscribe. And if you know someone who'd be perfect for the team of one, please introduce us on LinkedIn. See you next time. Peace.